want to see something really stupid looking? No, I'm not going to step out in front of the camera. See, we have in the rear 2 yellow sight dots, and in the front we have what looks like a white standard Glock sight, and that is exactly what it is. White standard Glock sight. The rear sight is a TRUGLO TFO bright sight, as the label identifies it. The front sight is the stock Glock sight. Now, why might that be? This video is going to be a combination of maybe a little bit of a how-to and product review. The product review is going to be for the TRUGLO TFO sights. And I have had them on this gun, this Glock 34, for about 8 months, maybe a little longer than 8 months. So I think I have enough experience with these sights. I like the TRUGLO sights, but with some little bit of reservation and some qualification. But I have had a little bit of trouble. As you can see, I've replaced the front sight with the Glock standard sight, but the folks at TRUGLO provided exceptional customer service. Not just good customer service, not just what we expected, but exceptional customer service. And so that goes a long way, and gives me, makes my thumb want to go like this. So more to that story coming up. The front sight became damaged. Paying extra close attention to the front sight, and I was in a position where I could really see that something was happening. So I noticed the front sight started to look funny, and lo and behold,
that's not ideal, is it?
The front sight filament was coming loose. It was coming out of the front sight housing that holds it. So I contacted TRUGLO and told them about the problem. And I also told them about another problem that I had at the same time. And their customer service was exceptional. And I sent my sight back to them, and with a very, very quick turnaround. I mean, they must have received my sight and sent the new one out the same day. And I got a new sight from them. So let's take a look, actually. This is the envelope from TRUGLO. And there we have a brand new front sight. First thing, let's just get ourselves a bare slide to work with. So first order of business is going to be to remove the stock sight that is on there currently. Alright, so there's our stock sight. We're just going to set that guy aside. And we want to make sure that the slide is very clean, the hole is clean where we're going to put the new sight on, and it looks to be very clean. But just to be sure, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Q-tip, and I'm going to take some alcohol. See there where it says alcohol, and I'm going to just swab that area inside and out a little bit. Now take our replacement sight, our new TRUGLO front sight, which they provided 2 screws with. Now, I promised I would talk about that. When I first bought the TRUGLO sights, and if you've priced a set of TRUGLO sights, they're about $100. You may find them a little cheaper. It came with a screw that had the problem that I had with it was that the screw head, the actual part that you put your wrench on, the screw head interfered, and the gun would not run with that So what I ended up doing was filing it down by hand and complaining. And I complained to the company I purchased it from. That went on deaf ears. So, I ended up filing it down myself. Then, of course, when it broke, when the filament or the fiber came loose and started coming out, then that was, a whole different issue. So that's why I have a new sight. But I, essentially had two problems. Number one, it ultimately failed to the point that I had to have it replaced, the entire front sight. But initially, I had problems with fitting it properly and the gun functioning. So I'm just doing a dry fit right now, and I want to see if I can see. Yeah, there is a difference. Now what they've done is they have provided me two screws, a short screw and a long screw. Now what they indicated to me in their communications was that they feel that I'm going to need the shorter screw with the Glock 34 Generation 4 in order for that to work right. They said it's not the thickness of the screw head, but I got to tell you, I'm going to tell you the honest truth. This is much thinner than the one that came with the first sight. A little bit of green on the boss. Now when you put the sight in, you really just want to gently ease it in. Like I say, it's an oval hole and an oblong or oval sight boss. Don't let me try and make this sound like it's rocket surgery or anything, because it's not. Okay, so get that in the tool and then put a drop of Loctite onto the thread. I have got that, what I consider to be good and tight, so let's make sure the gun functions and cycles like it's supposed to. I'll be upset. I might say naughty words if it doesn't. Let me zoom back out a little bit. Well, that looks good, doesn't it? Okay. Alright. When the gun fires and the slide comes back, you can see that the barrel was tilted up at an angle a little bit. And that's by design. And there's the barrel lug at the bottom of the barrel is where that pivot point is. What this really does is aid feeding, because it tilts that feed ramp down more toward the magazine and allows the next round to be more easily fed into battery. But what was happening before with the screw head up here on the underneath side of this sight being too thick, it actually interfered right here. It pinched that cycle, that action, just enough. I mean, it was probably just, probably just 10,000ths of an inch or something is all the interference it was, but it was enough that it was a real problem. So that one I filed. This one seems like it's going to work perfect. So there we go. Just real quick, I talked about TRUGLO. I'm going to give a quick review on these sights. I like these sights very much for what I use them for, and that is primarily competition match shooting, IDPA specifically, which is done in the daytime at an outdoor range for the most part. And these sights are exceptionally good at picking up ambient light and glowing really well. In fact, you can see that front sight, especially right now, is picking up the ambient light that's in this room. I've got a fluorescent tube on this workbench above it that it's picking up, and just really glowing nicely. It does that with sunlight like really well. Their strength is not for their glow-in-the-dark capability. It's not. I would give them a I'd give them a mediocre. I'd give them a 5 out of 10 on that. But for daylight shooting, if you want sights on a match gun, if you want to take this thing outside and shoot it, they're great for that. They really do excel. That front sight just lights up really nice in the daytime, and you can see here it's lit up pretty well with just this ambient light. You know, like any new sights, you need to find out where your new point of aim has to be, where you're going to hold this thing to shoot it. I found after I installed, now I've put on a new sight, it should be identical, but I'm going to have to go through that process again. I found after I changed from the stock Glock sight to the TFOs the first time that I had to go to more of a 6 o'clock hold than a center hold. So I'll have to retest this, but you know, certainly with a match gun you want to have some idea where you're shooting. So my bottom line thoughts on the TRUGLO TFO sights are, you know, at this price point, and again we're talking about $100. At this price point there is a lot of competition, there are a lot of sights to choose from. I think they are very good sights for outdoor use. I would not rate them the highest for indoor use for low light conditions. I think there are much better alternatives out there, and within the same price range or without being too much more. If you've got a good ambient light source, these are phenomenal sights. If you need low light or no light sights, this would not be my first choice. And then I'll say one more time, customer service I found to be exceptional, and good customer service for me goes a long way toward making up for, you know, any kind of deficiency or defect in a product, you know, and who knows why that sight broke. You know, I had quite a number of rounds through it, so it could have just been that, you know, it had taken a beating. But you know, as the great John Madden has always said, you know, winning is a great deodorant, and likewise, I think exceptional customer service makes up for a great number of deficiencies that might exist with any particular product. So big thumbs up to the folks at TRUGLO. Nice job. I thank you for the customer service, and I hope that what I experienced was just indicative of what everyone would experience. Okay, so after I finished doing my review, finished shooting the video of installing the new TRUGLO front sight, and talking a little bit about how the TRUGLO, in my opinion, was inferior to some other sights of the same nature, basically those that use tritium. I put the gun away in the safe, and I hung it alongside the Smith & Wesson M&P that is equipped with tritium night sights. They are Meprolite sights. So I noticed that as I put that gun alongside the other, that the front sights looked to be very equal in the amount of glow that they were providing. So I'm putting this picture up that I took since then, because I wanted to, you know, I want to be fair if I'm going to review something. This new front sight is much brighter, considerably brighter. I'd say like 4 or 5 times brighter than the original one that I had, which is great. Problem is the rear sights, the rear set of TRUGLOs, are still very, very dull and dim, and that's the ambers, and you can see those in this picture here. So this is, you know, there's a little bit of ambient light you can see, you know, to show the shape of each gun. The TRUGLO is on the left, and the Meprolites on the Smith & Wesson are on the right. Now, here's a picture taken in total darkness. Same order, TRUGLO on the Glock on the left, Meprolites on the Smith & Wesson on the right. And you notice that the front sights are very similar. In fact, I would go as far as to say that right now the TRUGLO sight seems to be glowing more brightly than the front. The rear sights, though, is where you really see the big difference. You see those two very nice clear green dots on the Meprolite. And by the way, those Meprolite sights do not contain any type of fiber optics. They are strictly, you know, the traditional 3-dot paint-on type of sight with tritium, obviously. The TRUGLO on the left is very dull, the rear sight very, very dim, and that was where I had the camera primarily focused for this shot. Now, you could say that, well, the human eye picks up green better than it does amber, and that may be true. I don't know either. I don't know whether it is or is not true. So I considered that, and here is the same picture where I've removed the color, and now we're just looking basically at black and white. So we're looking at only the amount of light emitted from these sights. And again, the front sights look very, very similar, very comparable. And if anything, I would have to tip the advantage to the TRUGLO sight on the left. But the rear sights, there's a huge difference, and that difference is much more in favor of the Meprolite. The TRUGLO rear sight still very dull and dim, and that's been my experience since I've owned it. So I don't know, maybe I just got maybe I got a bad set, you know. Maybe everything was wrong with it. Maybe the sights were dull, maybe they didn't you know, they didn't have a good charge of tritium. You know, the screw that was provided with the front sight was the wrong screw, you know, so I had fitment problems, you know, Lord knows. So maybe I just got a bad set, and you know, if I were to buy another set, maybe I would have much better luck. I don't know. You know, once you start shopping for sights and you're going to spend $100, you know, you've got a lot of opportunities and a lot of players in that price range. You know, give or take $20. So hard to say, but I did want to share this added information because I think it's fair to do it, and I think it's, you know, I think it's meaningful information. So there you go.